What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian. Welcome to SeaWorld Productions. Let's talk about the massive post-credit scene in Echo. You guys, if you guys haven't seen Echo, then you most likely want to watch Echo, then come back to this video because we're going to be talking spoilers and the future of what is to come with Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, you guys. Now, straight off the bat, I'm just going to be honest with you. Vincent D'Onofrio is probably one of the greatest character actors within the Marvel Universe as Kingpin. He is that good, that menacing. Whenever he is in a scene, he just steals all the attention away because of his whole presence, you guys. It is phenomenal. And I cannot wait to see more Kingpin within the MCU under Marvel's, spotlight banner, because essentially these are for the much darker, grittier characters. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. With Echo, I thought Echo could have been much more brutal, a little bit more darker. I mean, when Marvel Studios says, yo, we're going to be having stuff for like TVMA, I'm expecting stuff to be very, very brutal, like borderline R-rated. But ultimately, I kind of felt like with Echo, we have already seen that kind of violence. Yeah, there were certain scenes like that, with the guy getting shot in the head or whatever, of like blood dripping down the face. I was like, okay, whatever. But I was like, I expected just a little bit more from Echo, but I'm like, at the end of the day, this is still Disney. This is still Disney. So whenever they say, TVMA, I'm gonna hold back and gonna be like, okay, it's not gonna be too drastic. But who knows? With the potential hopes of Blade being R-rated, they can do so much with that. Let's just cross our fingers, you guys. Let's cross our fingers. But post-credit scene for Echo. So at the very end of Echo, you guys, Kingpin is on his plane back home to New York. And boy, oh boy, he looks distraught. He's watching the television. And, there's a lot of political talk, talking about who's going to run for mayor and what kind of person they need for mayor. And that gives Kingpin a bright idea. He's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, okay, they are definitely going to go for the Devil Reigns comic book storyline where Kingpin is mayor. Now, it's already been rumored that Kingpin would be running for mayor in the Daredevil Born Again series hitting Disney+. So I was like, okay, well, this sets up so much, especially for the street level heroes. And it got me that much more excited. Now that the Netflix Marvel stuff is canon within the MCU, I'm like, you got to bring Mike Colter back. You got to bring him back so he can go up against Wilson Fisk for mayor. Can you imagine how dope that would be to see Luke Cage and Wilson Fisk going for mayor of New York? I would just lose my mind because I loved Luke Cage. I really enjoyed the first two seasons. I mean, I really enjoyed that character so much. That was TVMA. I mean, especially season 2 when they lit that one dude on fire, the Jamaican cat, in his own restaurant. So I'm like, oh, they got to give us that. They got to give us a Luke Cage return, especially since in that comic book run, Wilson Fisk is, we all know, the crime lord of him to be. So he fixes the election. So he ultimately wins. But then, he puts out a massive thing against all heroes within New York, all vigilantes, making it illegal for them in the state of New York. So I was like, oh shit, can you imagine they do something like that along the lines of Daredevil Born Again, where that law gets passed, that bill gets passed? So I'm like, well, what does that mean for all the heroes that are New York based? Spider-Man, hello? No way in hell Daredevil Born Again doesn't have a Peter Parker or Tom Holland Spider-Man cameo appearance. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The Fisk saga, which it kind of feels like they're leading and building with, sounds so much more exciting than the multiverse saga, because the grounded street level heroes are just so much more interesting. Like Daredevil, you have the Punisher, you can bring Blade in there, you can bring Moon Knight, you have Spider-Man, you have Jessica Jones, you literally have all of the Defenders, and then you throw in, who am I missing? She-Hulk, because she is kind of New York based. And, Daredevil and She-Hulk have that relationship since the She-Hulk season 1. So it could all potentially unravel in playing to see how the Defenders kind of get back together, or if they plan to do a whole new group of the Defenders to take Wilson Fisk out of office. That would be so intriguing. I mean, you gotta have Luke Cage. I mean, you have to. He's the king of Harlem Paradise right now, ending of the season 2 of Luke Cage. It would be so fitting. And you can't, look, there are so many fans out there who would love to see Luke Cage back. And Mike Colter, you guys, I don't think he's done much since Luke Cage. So why not bring him back? Why not? You already brought Charlie Cox back. You brought Vince D'Onofrio back. You have a whole lineup. I mean, you recast Iron Fist, obviously. I mean, John Bernthal is rumored to be returning as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. Everything is all lining up perfectly, and there's so much to do, man. It would be so fascinating to see this whole Kingpin saga storyline kind of unravel with the street level heroes. I mean, one of the writers of Echo kind of said that, Kingpin is like the Thanos of the street level heroes, and I'm like, oh, absolutely, let's do that. I mean, Kingpin so far is one of my favorite villains within the MCU, just with his 2 appearances in She-Hulk, with Hawkeye. It was so tonally different. It was so tonally different that Kingpin in that series compared to what we got in Echo. I mean, you could just tell, Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, Vincent D'Onofrio, they heard the cries. They're like, what? What is this Kingpin? Absolutely not. And they switched it up. And they're like, we're going to go back to Kingpin of old from the Netflix series. And they switched it up. And, that's the Kingpin we all fell in love with. I mean, he is just top tier. He's up there with Thanos. He's up there with Killmonger. I mean, come on now. I cannot wait for more Wilson Fisk, you guys. It's so exciting, especially when we're talking like the New York-based heroes. There's so much you can do with that. Like, I really want to know what's going to happen with Daredevil Born Again. It's going to be so interesting. And Wilson Fisk doesn't have to be the main villain of Daredevil. Apparently, Muse is going to be the main antagonist or villain for Daredevil, where he has to kind of solve all these murder mysteries. It's just, oh man, just go full-blown dark with Daredevil Born Again. Go full-blown dark and don't hold anything back. Don't. I feel like Daredevil Born Again is going to set the standard, the bar for the Disney Plus Marvel shows, at least for the street level heroes. I'm not talking about Loki season 1, Loki season 2, WandaVision, because those are top tier as well. But I'm talking about the lower class heroes, you guys. That would be so freaking awesome. I can't wait. I mean, 18 episodes, if it's still 18 episodes. I know that they're going to be shooting soon, but they had a whole creative rewrite with the whole series, and they're vamping up to do something completely different. And, whatever Kevin Feige has in store for Daredevil Born Again, I can't wait. Especially, like I said, with that post-credit scene of them teasing, the Devil's Reign and having, Wilson Fisk be mayor of New York. It is going to be so freaking crazy. I cannot wait. And then that leads to the question, who bought the Avengers Tower? Was it Wilson Fisk? It's a possibility. Or is it the Baxter Building and the Fantastic Four? There's so many things that need to be answered. It's killing me. I mean, nobody knows who's bought the Baxter Building since the Avengers relocated. Nobody knows. It's been like this big old question mark. So I'm like, what is happening with that? Can we get some answers for that? Please. Because, guys, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. But please, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about Echo's post-credit scene and the future of the Wilson Fisk saga of him becoming mayor of New York and a possible banding of all heroes in New York, you guys. All vigilantes, that is, in New York. Boy, oh boy, that storyline is going to be absolutely crazy. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. And of course, thank you guys for taking time in your day for watching Zero Productions. Peace.